Now, for more on that suit won by former President Goodluck Jonathan, let's bring in the counsel to former President Goodluck Jonathan. Emmanuel Anene joins us from Abuja studio. Mr. Anene, thank you for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, Nigerians. And thank you for having me.
Sigh of relief, excited, it's over. How would you describe this? Ms. Anene, can you hear me? All right, so we're trying to reestablish connection with the counsel to former President Goodluck Jonathan on this particular suit by a lawyer, according to the report. So John Mary Gideobi was seeking to ensure that President Jonathan is not on the poll, because President Jonathan had actually said he's consulting. He hasn't said anything. I think this is the second time he's talking about consulting. In the last election, he said similar things. So people are saying he may or may not. But let's see whether we can get the lawyer in again and try. Ms. Anene, can you hear us? Oh, dear. All right, so the whole issue, so just a quick recap of what this issue is. President Jonathan had actually served as vice president with Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who had passed on, God rest his soul. So he completed that term and ran for re-election. So he swore two oaths, he swore the oath of office and the oath of allegiance twice. First, when he took over office to complete the term of the former President Yar'Adua, and the next when he was now elected to run for his own full term, and then he lost in 2015. So looking at issues around constitution, and some things have been amended. So that's why this case headed to court. Let's see whether we can get Mr. Anene for the last time. Mr. Anene, thank you for coming on the program.
Like I said before, there was a judgment in Yenegoa.
Go ahead.
In a case instituted by Andy Solomon and Abraham against former President Jonathan on the issue of Section 137, subsection 3 of 1999 Constitution as amended. This amendment came in 2018. Now, the court decided, looking at this judgment, that the former president is qualified to run for the election. Now, the reasoning of the court, the reasoning of the court is that the constitutional provisions is to apply prospectively and not retroactively, because the former president left office in 2015. Now, the constitution was this constitution we are talking about, Section 137, subsection 3. It came into being in 2018. By that time, the former president had left office. Now, there was also a decision in Yenegoa that the former president was to run, has the capacity, legal capacity to contest the election. That decision came in 2022. Now, there was also a decision in Abuja here, in a matter instituted by Syracuse in Joku, that the former president is also qualified to contest the election. Now, this issue, this judgment by the court against the action instituted by Syracuse in Joku traveled as far back as Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal came with a judgment that the former president has no legal inhibition to contest the election. Why would one would wonder why this defensive instant will also litigate this matter again, and there should be an end to litigation. Now, the issue is the same. The parties are the same. What changed is the people that instituted this action. Now, this raises the issue of issue estoppel. Once an issue is decided by court of competent jurisdiction, the only way to overturn that judgment is to go to an appeal. And once an appellate court has decided on that matter, that's it. This is not only forum shopping, it's abuse of court process, and they want to throw the court into ridicule. And Nigeria should not accept this one. God so kind that Honorable Justice Lifu came to our rescue and rescue of Nigerian, because Nigerians are being ridiculed. And former president, let me sign this warning. Former President Jonathan should not be put in a position where he will regret voluntarily handing over power to Buhari, even when the result of that election is being awaited. And there are good grounds, veritable grounds to challenge this election. But former President Jonathan, against all odds, against every advice, decided to concede power. Nigeria should applaud him for that.
All right, so I'm wondering, so we can clearly say now that this is the end to litigation because this case has been adjudicated on over and over and over. Is that what we're saying here?
This is end to it. There is nothing. You cannot just wake a dead horse. It's amount to flogging a dead horse. A dead horse is dead. There are judicial pronouncements. This judgment that came today is just to amplify the amplified judgment that was already taken by court of competent jurisdiction. You could have challenged it in court, but there is nothing to challenge. Look at the award of 20 million naira against the plaintiff and even 1 million awarded in favor of Attorney General. It is needless. This is a mere distraction. But then, former President Jonathan has not even told anybody that he wants to contest. Is it when anybody wake up and start disturbing Mr. President because he handed over the power voluntarily? If Mr. President said, I want to contest election, what wrong would this plaintiff instance would have suffered? Is he an aspirant in that election? Does he want to contest election? These are the questions. He's a busybody. He just wants to attract attention to himself and distract former President Jonathan from what he's doing. Former President Jonathan is a full-fledged Nigerian and he has legal and constitutional right to contest to seek re-election into that office. That's the judgment of the court today.
All right, in closing with you, so this simply means that anyone who is in former President Jonathan's shoes, whether it's a former governor or a former president, who seeks to run, okay, because former President OBJ, Obasanjo, he did his 2 terms. God rest his soul, and their souls. Yaradua is gone, Buhari is gone, it's just Jonathan that is alive. So that's why I cannot say, maybe any other person, maybe who is a governor who is in this kind of situation, can actually go home and say, okay, with this judgment, since the Constitution was amended after it happened, they are good to go. Is that what we're saying now, according to what this judgment?
No, let me clarify this impression. There was a case instituted against Ayedetua. You understand? That case was failed because Ayedetua was sworn in after that amendment. Now, the case of Jonathan was that he left office in 2015. And like I said, there are a plethora of Supreme Court judgments in Ono against Mobodo. Then Osifo against Attorney General of Bende State. Then Afolabi against Attorney General of Oyo State. Supreme Court decision in these cases that are cited are to the effect that constitutional provisions are to apply prospectively and not retroactively.
Okay.
So if constitutional provisions are to apply prospectively, then it is look at futuristic, not retroactively as per what happened in the past. These provisions is not to apply to President Jonathan because as at the time the constitutional amendment was made in 2018, Jonathan had already left office 3 years earlier. So I wonder why people are dragging Mr. President needlessly, unnecessarily in a litigation that has no fruit. Nothing will come out of this litigation.
All right. Well, congratulations to you and former President Goodluck Jonathan. Apparently the coast is clear, but we haven't heard from him on what his decision will be, whether or not he's running. But thank you. Emmanuel Anene, counsel.
I know that if the former president, if the former president decides to run contest election, Nigerians will vote for him because he's an
let's stay within the confines of what has happened. The law.
In everything.
I brought you to talk about the law, not to talk about his ambition. Emmanuel Anene, counsel to former President Goodluck Jonathan. Thank you. All right.